Welcome to DC. You know where you at the USA Cup. You're taking it slightly, I'm taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act on you gon' be right back. Well, we gon' be right here, we gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC. DC, the home of Chuck Brown. Oh, you don't know the sound? Well, let me break it down. The G-O, the G-O, the M-A and B-O. See though, we've been pumping crank since an embryo, really though.
All right, this is the Big Douglas Show. Robert Big Pooh is in the building. Wole from the urban sports scene is with us, fellas. It is a misery Monday.
Absolutely.
Now, Pooh, we did not, I remember when we went through these games, this wasn't actually a game we thought they were winning anyway, if I recall correctly. I know I didn't, and I know I picked them to lose right before the game started on Saturday.
I don't even recall. A lot of my predictions look like they're going to come up on the wrong side of things. It's one of them things where the offense, I'm not really surprised at. It's the defense. And, you know, we've allowed all three teams to just march down the field on their first possession of the game. No resistance. Yesterday, there was no pass rush to be seen, spoken, or heard of. Multiple miscommunications in the defensive backfield. I mean, these were big miscommunications, too. Not like one time a safety just dropped it. No. These were big, huge mistakes. If I can catch them, like, come on. The NFL team is going to exploit them. So the linebackers, once again, wasn't filling properly. I saw they took Bostic off for a little while and ran Jamin Davis more.
Which is good.
The defense is a mess,
he
man.
actually out-snapped Bostic for the first time this year.
It was good.
He should have been out-snapping him from day one. Because it's like this. I seen somebody put it on Twitter, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was you, Wale. He was like,
it was me. I think I'm serious, yeah. I know it was that.
Like,
I remember talking to you, but yeah.
And it's like, yo, if it's going to be mistakes to be made, just let them make them.
Yeah. It's like, you know what, today? It's like, because that's how you treat a quarterback, right? So when you have a bad quarterback as your starter, you draft the rookie quarterback, right? And you expect him to take the job. And if that quarterback in front of him is playing horrible, you're like, we're going to play the quarterback. We're going to play the young dude, because at least the young dude's going to get a chance to learn and get the opportunity to learn. And this is my thing about if Bostic was holding it down. And it's not a knock on Bostic. I'm not like everybody who's uberly negative on Bostic, but I'm like, we all see misplays. He's just not that guy, right? So I'm like, if he's not holding it down, if he's not being a big playmaker or whatnot, yo, this is an opportunity to get this young kid some burn and get him some experience. Like, why are we taking advantage of it? Because why are we taking advantage of the situation? Because at the end of the day, I think we all seen it throughout, even in this small portion size of the season, that he's getting better every game. So I'm going to give him that minute. I'm going to give him that burn. So I know at least in the future, he's going to be ready to be the guy that they expected him to be when they drafted him.
Like they're doing with Juice.
Yes, like Juice, exactly.
He's getting thrown in the fire.
Yes.
Like you sink or swim. And I think that's what they did the same with Cosby. And I think they need to do the same with Davis. It's just at this point, the way the defense is playing, let the young guys go, man. Just let them go, let them learn. I mean, we getting gassed for 400 and I think it's 29 yards a game anyway. Yeah. So at least get that athleticism out there on the field so he can see things. And I think more than anything, man, I'm just very disappointed in the defensive play calling, and just the whole awareness of the defense just feels off. I know people saying
the back end ain't right, Pooh. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to figure out where at the end of last year, the defense was rocking and rolling. Communication was at an all-time high. Hell, the Shaders Everett was playing free safety last year, and it was looking right. And you know my thoughts on Jeremy Reeves. I'm not sure why they can't slide McCain into the nickel on those situations because, let's face it, something's wrong with Fuller. I don't know if he's got an injury or he don't like the spot where he's at, but he's slow. He don't look like he understands
He burnt
what's going
toast.
on out
He
there.
burnt. He get burned on
He
regular.
burnt toast. Yeah, I think part of the issue may be Washington prided itself on finding players that were versatile, right? And so you have players doing different things, and you have all these crazy formations and running players in and out. They got to get back to basics. Like, who's your free? Who's your strong? Who's your middle or your Mike? Who's your weak side, strong side linebackers? And they got to get back to basics because the miscommunications in the defensive backfield is a product of, I think, players coming in, coming out. What lineup are we in? What alignment are we in? What position are you playing this down? What position are you playing this down? Like,
The communication looked horrible.
Yeah, because I think Cameron Curl makes some mistakes yesterday, and he's not one that really make mistakes.
Not at all.
Like,
Not at all.
you know, everybody can get got on a play or two, but he don't really make mistakes. And even William Jackson, I know he was primarily a press man corner.
Yeah.
Don't bring a press man corner in and play a whole bunch of zone.
And so is Juice. Juice is a press man corner.
Yeah.
Juice
This is crazy. Like, I agree with y'all. This is what kills me. It's like, okay, because we had this discussion on our show like before, and I gave the defense, I gave Jack Del Rio, I gave Ron Rivera credit. I was like, you're going to bring in, you know, Jackson. You're going to bring him from Cincinnati. You're going to play a lot of man because that's what he does best. He's a press man corner. So I was like, you know, with this pass rush, it's ideal, right? A press man corner with this pass rush, he should be fine. And, you know, lo and behold, they don't do that. They play a lot of zone. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, all right, he's getting beat. Now the fan base is going to turn on him and say, like, he's a bust. But really, he's not playing the position. I thought he played well yesterday, to be honest with you. William Jackson, I thought he played well yesterday. I know it's not saying a lot. That's not saying a lot. You know, team gave up 40-some-odd points. But still, like, I thought he played decent.
It ain't his fault.
Yeah.
There's no pass rush.
It ain't his fault. Exactly, like, you know.
The corners can't cover forever.
I know.
And I know Del Rio only wants to rush 4, and they should be able to get there, but hello, they're not. So
yeah, this is the thing. Like,
somebody else if they're not going to get home with
it's
4.
insane to me, man. Like, that's what kills me. It's like, all right, I know I'm not getting it. I'm not anointing nobody anymore. I've been done anointing folks, but it's like they're not getting free. You know what I mean? You can blame whoever, but they're not getting free. So why would you do the same thing over and over again, thinking you're gonna get a different result? Like, like you didn't even get a decent pass rush against a Giants offensive line that was trash. Like, let's be real, that is trash. The offensive line is trash, and they didn't get constant pressure. They got some pressure early, but after I want to say in the second half, they weren't getting any pressure. You're looking at, if you look at the common variable in all 3 games, these quarterbacks have been sitting pretty. You know what I mean? Like, they can sit down, get back up. They can sit down Indian style, get back up, and still throw it fast. You know what I mean? And feel good about their lives. You know what I'm saying? So it's a problem, and he's going to have to get this whole staff, whoever is like this whole staff. I ain't blaming somebody. Whoever, they got to get that defensive line situated. You know what I mean? Seriously.
Like,
are they antiquated? Are they too old in their thinking of the way football is played now?
I think you said
to win with what they're trying to accomplish here. To me, that's what I get concerned about now. Is that Del Rio and Ron Rivera see football in a way that it's just not played anymore.
I think this may be a circumstance where they are relying on their way of doing things. I don't want to call it, you know, old, antiquated. You know, I just think this is the way we're gonna play because this is the way I want to play versus, okay, this is the way we need to play. Yeah. Like, if you're getting burnt, okay, like, this is my thing. If you're getting burnt playing the zone, nickel, man, whatever, 4-4, 5-2, I don't care what you're playing. Yeah. If you're getting burnt, turn the heat up.
Yes.
Like, what's going to be the difference?
Yeah.
What is the difference of, you know, if you're allowing teams to get 3rd and 15 on you, and you're dropping 8 back in coverage.
Exactly.
Then 5.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's like, to me, even with that, all right, say your argument is, oh, you're going to give it the big play. bro, you give him a 40-30. Like, what did you really do? What are we doing here? Like, what is your argument? Like, what are we doing here?
You know what frustrates me? When I talked to the beat reporter for the Chargers, I asked him, what is the new hotshot defensive head coach's philosophy on defense? And he said, or what is the scheme you'll be using? He says, I don't know, whatever fits my players best. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a scheme. I'm going to look at who's on the roster and formulate a scheme that works to all their advantages. And to me, to your point, I think around Ashburn, they're saying, listen, this works, just do it. It hadn't worked yet.
Man, Jack Del Rio is calling plays. It looked like he calling plays like it's preseason.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to show them. I don't want to show the next opponent too much.
It's crazy. It's because I go in. I don't even know why it's this complicated in this aspect. It's like, all right, we know how talented we deem as talented the front four is, right? It's all first rounders, whatever. But it's like, all right, if you believe that, you bring an extra man. And not to say you don't have to blitz every down. I'm not ignorant, or every series or whatever. But you mix it up. You mixed up an extra man rusher, dude. If you rush an extra dude, just a common sense speaking, you rush an extra dude on Chase Young's side. Doesn't that make life easier for a kid like Chase Young who's struggling to always constantly win one-on-one? Like,
they rushed an extra guy 4 times.
Yeah,
I think it was either 4 or 5 times they sent a 5th man.
Yeah.
Your defense, your defense is the worst third down defense in the NFL. You're giving up 58% of third down plays.
Yeah.
What does it hurt to bring an extra man?
Yes.
You bring him on Chase side, or you bring him up the middle.
Oh, yes.
Which makes the offense have to account for that extra man, so you can't double team a Chip Chase and double team Montez.
Yeah,
like
it's
crazy.
One
or the other.
Yeah,
and I mean, it sounds too much like right. I guess
it does. You know what's so funny? Because if you watch San Francisco not back in the day, but Alden Smith and Justin Smith, right? And Justin Smith would take on 2 blocks. When they blitz, they would blitz right in between, like, so they can free up Alden Smith. Like, they would blitz this free up Alden Smith. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can do things. Because this whole, like, now people are like, I don't want to say turning on Chase, but we're looking at Chase. Like, is he this type of pass rusher? He's still his year 2. He's still learning himself out. But you can make things easier for him so he won't have to hear this BS around. Like, you can make life easy for him. Like, so he doesn't have to hear this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you're treating him like he's Von Miller already. You know what I mean? Like, nah. Well, all right. Von Miller had DeMarcus Ware to help him out. Like, nah. It's a different beast.
Essentially, you're not rushing the extra man so that you can drop him into coverage, right? And we got torched in the middle of the field. All game long, middle of the field, wide open. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like 12 of Allen's passes went 10 yards up the field in the middle. And why you would ever have Landon Collins on Emmanuel Sanders going deep down the field, miss me with your creativity on defense.
Listen, Landon Collins don't need to be more. If you see Landon Collins in coverage, or if you see Landon Collins more than 10 yards down past the line of scrimmage, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
The ball goes there too.
Mm-hmm. The ball better go there. Like,
it better.
Like, even when you bring in a player like William Jackson III, that should allow you to play a Stephon Diggs head up for a good portion of the game.
Yeah,
not all the game, but a good portion of the game. They were bracketing him to prevent him from having a big day, which allowed Emmanuel Sanders to have 70-some yards and 2 touchdowns, which allowed Cole Beasley to go off. Like, it's like there's no adjustments being made. Every week I look at it and be like, okay, I know the opponent's going to come down and they're going to just march down the field on this first drive.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the plan, so we can make some adjustments after the first drive. And then yesterday, they continued to march down the field on every.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know why. I was like, all right, they got their touchdown out the way. Now they know what they're going to do. They're going to adjust to this. Like, it ain't going to happen. This ain't going to be consistent. But I was thinking the same exact thing. I like, this is not going to be consistent. but it was like it was redundant. The same thing happened, like
all day.
A big third down play.
And it
they were
felt
getting
like
Sunday
they were
hardage.
pretty good on that last year, right? Making halftime adjustments.
Yes, they were great at it. They were great at it last year. They were great at it.
I was so excited about people that made adjustments, and here we are banging our head against the wall for adjustments.
This is why I know I predicted them to win way more games than what they're probably going to win.
Yeah.
But this is why I kept harping on the fact this is year 2.
Yeah, sure.
Of a rebuild, because we got false hope with the terrible play in the division last year. So now there's this expectation of, we supposed to win, at least be in competition to, repeat as champs in the NFC East and win 10 games, double-digit games, whatever. But you're seeing the lack of a lot of things right now across the board, offense and defense. And you're just seeing the lack of, as Rivera puts it, maturity, on his players. And it's perplexing. It's just like, and yes, the players aren't always doing what they're supposed to do, but I'm putting this on the coach.
Yes,
I'm putting this on the coach.
Thank you.
Like, you gotta simplify things. If you see your players are having this many miscommunications, this many issues, Chase Young, Montez not getting off like you thought, you have to simplify and make adjustments, and they're just not doing it.
They didn't even know who to push off on the sweep formations. And when they put man in motion, you could see back there they were.
Oh my God! I thought Josh Allen missed somebody on. I know exactly what you're talking about, Doug. I was like, oh, everybody get this touchdown off that one. He went a different direction, but I was like, they look confused. It's to what Boo's saying too. I agree because I coach basketball, and I'm always like, I'll give you an example. So one year, my kids, they were doing well. I said, we got to take them to the next level. We got to do something else. Like we were competing for a championship, but this is going to put us at a different level. And so we're going to play man press man. And then we was playing press man from half court, from full court press, man, all the way up. And we weren't good. We weren't good at it. Like, we just weren't good at it. We sucked at it. I was like, and I was like, I'm trying to simplify things and whatever. And I was like, you know what? My brother came to me, when both coaches came to me, was like, let's just go back to our 2-3 zone and our zone press. Perfect. And I was like, you know what? They just do that better. I just think this coaching staff gets stubborn, like they're in their own way. They're like, okay, this is how we do things, and this is how it's going to be, period. And we're not trying to change up and change it up to fit what our players do best. I feel like once they simplify and do what their players do best, they'll be fine. You know what I mean? Perfectly fine. Even when we mentioned like Fuller, which is it's annoying the hell out of me that Fuller has gotten to this point where he's not even a good nickelback anymore, right? At this particular point. Then you cut Jimmy Moreland, right? Who graded high at nickel last season, graded high for McTire. That tells me that you believed in McTire enough to let Jimmy go, right? That's my thought process. If you believe in Jimmy,
who gets no snaps? Where's Tyre?
Who gets no snaps? So if you believe him that much, Fuller ain't playing good. I'm not saying I'm not saying you got to demote Fuller completely, but you can take him out and give this kid more burn at nickel if he's that much better than Jimmy.
Or move McCain into the nickel and see what.
Or that too. I'm saying there are adjustments that you can make. Like there are adjustments they can make. Like we mentioned, play Jamin Davis and play Jamin Davis more. Play McTire, play McCain and nickel. There are things you can
Hudson.
do.
I'd like to see
Hudson. Man, call up Reeves and play some safety. Because like you mentioned last year, like you do something. Because last year when you had Darby, Moreland, and Reeves, that defense was much better.
Much better.
And you got two of the three, and you got Reeves on your squad. You still got Reeves, and you think McTire is better than Moreland. All right, play them two then. All right, play them two more.
Yeah.
Then do it.
If you're assigning blame to this thing, and we'll divvy it up into 3 pieces out of 10. Like, how much do you put on the offense? How much you put on the defense, and how much you put on the coaching staff?
The most is on the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the defense, and then it's the offense. And I'm gonna tell you why. I mean, we already discussed that nauseam on the coaching staff. We don't have to do that. and the defense. But the offense, I give them the least amount of blame because they're still playing without their major offseason signing. He still hasn't played. So that means they're running with a rookie who they can't figure out how to get off. With a rookie, is starting up wide out. You have a remade offensive line that hasn't gelled yet. Cosme's over there getting baptized, okay?
Yeah.
On passing downs.
On
passing downs, he's getting baptized.
Yes.
Right?
Only giving up 3 sacks on the season.
You know,
he is getting, like, they run everything to that side of the ball because they know, as they should. Mm-hmm. So you have this offensive line that's reshuffled. You have a quarterback who, for better or worse, you wasn't expecting him to be playing at this point in the season. Mm-hmm. And he's still learning. Like, that was only his, third game, fourth game.
You'd be excited if Heineke was average.
You'll be excited. Like, so he's making mistakes that players who haven't really played a lot make. Yeah. So he doesn't have the strongest arm, and he's playing at Orchard Park where the stadium is below the ground. You late, you pay.
True.
And he paid twice yesterday.
Yeah.
It probably could have been a couple more.
He could have more though, man. He could have more.
20 yards to run up the middle of the field on that first interception. I guarantee you, somebody will do the work so that I don't have to this week. But I guarantee you, he left 100 rushing yards at least on the field on Sunday. And
who talking about who?
The pocket.
Heineke.
Yeah.
But you know why?
Look at that first interception. The middle of the field's wide open.
Oh, wide open, yeah.
Because I think they beat it in his head to not run.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
To not run. So, he's trying to make plays with his arm versus doing what comes naturally, which would have been that one interception he was trying to throw it to McLaurin on the sideline. Yeah. And Logan Thomas, peeled off and got the pick. Yeah. That's the play. He could have just sprinted right up the middle. He would have at least had the first down. Like, so the offense was always supposed to be the work in progress.
Yes.
They were going to always be behind because of so many more moving parts that they had, whereas the defense didn't have that many moving parts. It was the second year of the system. It was the second year for Chase Young, third for Montez. Jonathan Allen got the big deal. So it was one of those things where everyone felt the defense would be ahead of the offense when, in actuality, the offense not playing as well, but they're ahead of the defense.
They're ahead of the defense.
They're ahead of the defense. Yeah. So, because they showed you yesterday, we know McLaurin can get open whenever. It's just about if he gets the ball thrown to him or not.
Well, the snap counts. They just didn't have a lot of snaps.
No.
Four targets for 4 catches for Logan Thomas. It's not because they didn't want to give him the ball. And it's not because he fumbled. They just didn't have it. Where'd they run the ball? 10 times? 8 times?
Penalties, turnovers.
Don't get me started on penalties, though, because don't get me started on penalties. Like, there's a little bit. I'm a little mixed with that, man. Because those refs were trash. Those refs were trash. They were trash.
Reffing was trash across the league. Yesterday.
I know, across the league. I agree. Across the league,
they are trash.
I don't know what they doing this year, but they don't care about their job. That's all I know. They don't. They don't care at all.
But I saw somewhere so far through 3 games, the defense has 229 snaps, and the offense has like 176.
Yeah,
something which lets you know we should be 0-3 right now. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
We shouldn't be 0-3. We should not be 1-3.
It's tough, man. 0-3. I know.
That's just reality, man. Like, we got lucky. Thank you, Dexter Lawrence.
I know, man.
We got lucky.
So lucky
against the Giants, but it's one of them things, man, where I don't know how long Jack Del Rio keeps this job if the defense keeps playing like that.
And that's the thing too. It's like, because I'm like I was telling Doug earlier, it's like I'm not the type of person who's going to like turn on Jack. I don't like to be a person that's just quick. Like last season they had a good defense, right? This season it's like a bad defense. But when it gets to this point though, right? It's because it's getting there. And I know everybody's just 3 games, but it's getting there where it's getting historically bad. And you gotta match up your talent to what the product is right now. and everybody still believes that this is a high end talent in terms of what you have on the defensive side of football. So when you see that and you're seeing this type of production, yeah, it makes you think, like, how long is, like, what's the rope? Like, real talk, like, what's the rope on this dude? Because you're going to have to look at situations where, like, you see other teams with less talent on defense produce at a better clip than what they're doing right now. So we're just natural.
They're not bringing in a new system and coaching.
Oh, of course not. No, not now. Yeah, of course not.
I mean,
yeah.
I guess Ron Rivera could just snatch back,
play call duties. Yeah.
I wonder, somebody else has to do the math here because I'm not doing it for the research. Is this defense worse than Joe Barry's defense?
It's close. It's close. It's close. I feel like
brutal.
It's close. I don't feel like it's any different. The field isn't different. Like, they're giving up a lot of third down. The difference is, and to be fair to Joe Barry, and I'm gonna give Joe Barry credit.
He didn't have the same type of play.
Exactly. And that's the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem I'm having. Like, if it was like the normal Washington football team talent in terms of defense since a certain amount, since maybe 2.0 to a certain extent, to Gibbs 2.0, this is honestly one of the most talented defenses that I've ever seen in DC, right, in terms of individual talents. But this is similar to what I've seen in DC, and that's a lot of bad defense. And this is it.
It also goes to a philosophical difference on how you build teams.
Yeah.
Like, maybe spending 4 first-round draft picks on D linemen wasn't the way to go. I mean, maybe you should have split those across different levels of the defense.
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
I don't like revisionist history, right?
Yeah.
Because this is my problem. Like, so you have, you have this constant banter of, should they have got Justin Herbert instead of Chase Young? And it's like, dude, we wouldn't even got Justin Herbert because Tua was the second quarterback drafted.
Yeah.
In that
draft.
draft.
I'm not talking about going back in time, Pooh. I'm just talking about how you believe.
Oh, strategize on getting your defense. He's saying go on different levels.
4 years in a row on defensive line. In the modern NFL, where all you have to do is switch to quick game to alleviate them. I'm just saying maybe a safety, maybe a corner, maybe Chase Young and a linebacker, and then fill the.
I believe you went in the trenches. So even if you weren't going for on the defensive line, they should have got something on the offensive line.
Yeah. Doug, this is what I would say, Doug, though, to that, though. You got to look at also who you bring in as your defense, your DC. Like, depending on who your DC is going to be. Like, for instance, if you get, I'll put it this way. If you get those 4 defensive linemen, you put them in Baltimore, do you think you get a different result?
Yep.
I think everything gets better results.
That's what I'm saying. It's just different in terms of how you look at it. Because San Francisco did the same thing. And when they brought in a better defensive staff, and it worked out for them. So I'm just saying, it just depends on who you bring at DC as your DC. You know what I mean? So if your DC is somebody that's going to help your defensive line and your whole, they're all about pass rush, because you get usually 9 times out of 10. If you're drafting first rounders in terms of your front forward, that you're worried about a pass rush. So you're going to really be fixated on making sure you get pressure on the quarterback. So depending on your DC. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like Jack Del Rio for this team, there's no Khalil Mack on this squad. So, I mean, as good as Chase is, he ain't Khalil Mack. So, and that's a given. And that's what he had with the Raiders, right? And his defense was okay. So so he's going to need to, like, either change it up, bring some more pressure, more confusing pressure, and then this team will be better. I think this defense will be better if he just decides to do that, to be honest with you. I don't think it would be that
complicated. This team worked last year. I just wonder if teams caught up to it with a full off.
That too, of course they did. Of course they did.
I mean, they're getting the ball out quick, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're getting, like, Herbert, the ball was flying quick.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, he was just running RPOs.
Yes.
And Josh Allen was getting the ball out quick, he
did what he wanted to do.
To run around. So at that point, it's like, that shows a lack of discipline on the D line.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, listen, you have teams now scheming to get the ball out quick because they fear you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Get them hands up. Like, that the ball is coming out quick. 1, 2, 3, hands up. You know what I mean? Like, you know you're not going to make it to the quarterback in time.
Yeah.
Do something to
But
obstruct vision,
yes.
you know, deter plays, stay in your gaps. Like, so it's different things they can do that, you know, and that's not to say the defense, you know, Jack isn't telling them these things. They may just not be doing it.
That's true. We don't really know everything, and to be and even that, like, just as a fan looking in, and again, we don't know everything. It's true, we don't know everything. We don't know what's going on in that room, but just looking at it, because the quarterbacks are getting the ball out, doesn't that tells you maybe we should play a little bit more tighter. You know what I mean? So we can limit the space. If we play a little tighter, now things are it's a little tougher to get the ball out. You know what I mean? Bring an extra man if you're going to play tight. Now that quarterback has to make a split decision. You know what I mean? It's a quick split decision on who he has to get that football to, who's going to be the hot read. Is that hot? And then the hot read may not really be open. You know what I mean? There's so much you can do because the quarterbacks are getting the ball out quicker. You know what I mean?
Man,
so much.
I'm playing too high, and I'm sitting
why
on
not?
every slant, hook, curl. You're going to have to put that thing in the air on me.
Yeah.
Like, you remember Fred Smoot told us too. Remember, he was like, with that defensive line, I'd sit 5 yards off the line and make people beat me inside. Because I'm going to keep you in front of me the whole time.
Got to.
Mash you with the line, and that's it. And I'll never get beat. So why we're not doing that now, which was the whole point of bringing in these press cover corners, is just very frustrating. I will say this. A new day in Ashburn, because all you're hearing is that maybe some people aren't playing within the system, but nobody's got any clue of who it is. You can kind of pick and choose who you might think.
I mean, I know who it was.
There's nothing coming out of Ashburn as to who it is.
I have an idea. I know one. Cause I saw the play. I know one. It's the same person who was talking.
Oh, Chase?
It's the same person. If you watch the play, you could tell it was the play that Allen scored the touchdown running. There's one.
When he ran.
He wasn't supposed to go inside.
Yeah.
He's supposed to keep containment. He broke containment.
Yeah.
Trying to make a play.
Trying to make a play.
Trying to make a play.
Yep, that's what happened.
Because he's frustrated.
Because last week it was Landon Collins.
Yeah, last week was Landon Collins doing his own. Yeah, because he rushed. Yeah, the long run, the one that was taken back. You know, one that was taken back. Same thing.
I know that now. Ron has done this before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did it a little bit on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But Ron is going to have to start swapping out players. Like you were saying earlier, he's going to have to start. That's the only way you get a player.
People listen. Yep.
You start swapping out players. Like, listen, if you're not going to do what you're supposed to do, you got to come sit down.
Yeah.
Like, if your job is to contain.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have to explain to me, like I'm really stupid, why they keep putting Collins back in coverage. I cannot understand the concept.
I'm gonna say this: he's in coverage because he's out there, and they can find a way to isolate him. And if you're out there, and they can find a way to make sure you do have to cover. Like, if you're gonna be out there and you're not, even there's only this thing, and they can spread you out. He's gonna have to cover somebody. Because the play will be exposed if he doesn't. Like, you'll know it's zone if he doesn't rotate. You know if it's zone if he stays there. He's going to have to be in coverage. If he's not covering, this may be an open spot somewhere. Either he's going to come as a free rusher, but if he's out there, he's going to cover.
This is why I was a fan of them playing more two linebackers and using Landon as
a linebacker.
Yeah, you know, in theory, but not in name.
Yeah.
That way you have Cameron and McCain out there.
Yeah.
Who are better safeties. Let's just call it what it is.
Cover, yeah.
And you let Collins roam in the linebacker space.
Yeah, he's straight.
I think he'll be fine if he just had to roam in linebacker space, but not be the linebacker that has to run out in coverage on the tight end.
I mean, that too. If they utilized him a little bit, like they utilized him like Seattle utilizes what's big boy name? For Seattle, their safety. Adams.
Jamal.
They do like he would be all right. You know what I mean? Like, not to say that he covered but because they use Jamal a lot in the front seven. Like, he'll come up and he'll support the run. He'll blitz, and they use Landon because then that would negate or give give Landon some positive plays, a lot more positive plays than negative plays. Because I don't think Landon's playing horrible, but I don't like the way they use him. I think they could use Landon a lot better. You know, I
not
like
being in the best position.
Yeah, because there are plays like in this against Buffalo, they had him up front a little. They had him up close a little bit more, and he made a big play on the back. And I was like, yeah, this is how you're supposed to use Landon. Like, let him do that more, and then we can kind of. I think he would be more impactful to a point where it would negate some of the negative plays that we do see. It's just I feel like they just put him in position to fail a lot.
So your guy JOK from Notre Dame is killing the game right now.
Is he? I
don't know if you've been keeping up with him.
I thought he would.
I haven't.
Flying around, making tackles.
I
guys
thought he would
Trumbull, they just traded away their tight end because the Trumble's playing so well.
Yeah, I figured JOK will play good. Once again, this league is all about putting players in position for them to be most successful.
That's what I'm saying.
You have to know what you're getting. You have to know that you're going to adjust your system, or you have the system already for said player.
Yes.
If you don't, you're not going to get the best version of that player.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing here in Washington. But that's the difference between JOK and Cleveland, where they're using him the correct way, versus if he would have went somewhere else and they tried to make him a traditional linebacker.
True. There you go.
It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
You know, because JOK is Landon Collins.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of why I brought him up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's Landon Collins.
Let's do this. Let's wrap with this. It's been about 17 hours, give or take, since the game's over. You feel the same? You feel better? Feel worse? I don't know if you could have felt
about
worse
what?
At the end of the game last night. That was brutal.
I feel the same.
Mm.
It's just I think for me it was just I ended up turning the game off for like 5 minutes because I said I'm going to the red zone. It's frustrating more than anything. It's knowing the talent you have but not seeing them play together.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most frustrating thing about this team in particular this year is it's like what changed? Because the coaching staff is still intact. It's the same coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
So what changed?
Arrogance. Their arrogance across the board.
It definitely some of that.
I think they coach with arrogance, and that's why they don't move people around the way they want to. I think the players might have gotten a little extra high on themselves after a division win last year. They said that they weren't, but
you can tell they were.
They looked arrogant through the first couple weeks, and now they look disappointed.
That's a product of not having, I'll say, the proper veteran leadership.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
And this is no knock on Chase Young, but when you have first year, second year guys being voted captain and things of that nature, that shows me the lack of veteran leadership. And I mean a veteran who still can go out there and put it down on the field.
Like I say, to your point, Pooh, they probably thought they were going to get a little bit in that Fitzpatrick. And you guys know from sports, it's just hard to be the leader when you're not actually playing.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to be the leader when you're only there for a season too.
Well, yeah.
Hey,
where you sit at today after giving the game last night a little thought?
For me, man, it definitely was. I felt worse. I won't lie, I felt worse because it was just we gave a 40, and I was like, dang, 40. Like, come on now, like that means you on a lower tier of football.
I totally
team,
took
man.
them plus the 10 yesterday. I never bet on.
Oh, I did. I took that too.
I
didn't think they were getting 40. I did too, but I didn't think 40.
I didn't think Buffalo would have the highest score point.
Yeah, I didn't think that.
I got everything right on the parlay yesterday except for that Washington game. Crushed me.
Oh man, but I'm with you. I'm just like I'm with everybody here. I was disappointed, and the reason why was just that you just didn't compete. You know, I don't care about wins. I said it before. I don't care about wins and losses. So when you play a good team, when you're playing a good team, you know what I mean? I do. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, but I care about competing. Like I want to know that, you know, I want to see that you playing this team, they're going to feel you. Because I said this beginning of the season, I was like, everybody's talking about strength of schedule and they got to see all these quarterbacks and blah, blah, blah. But this is because I was hyped on the defense. I was like, well, these quarterbacks see this defense and they're going to be like, oh, we're going to have a long day today. Now that thought process is gone. Now I'm like quarterbacks looking at this defense like, it's meat, barbecue chicken. We about to get it. MVP. I'm about to go Tecmo Bowl Madden on this squad.
Right. Josh Allen should be leading the league in MVP votes after
right now. Like Matt Ryan coming. Kyle
Pitts has not been good so far.
Yeah, exactly. Matt Ryan gonna be like, I've been struggling, but I'm seeing Washington. I'm about to get my numbers up. I'm about to go to Pro Bowl tonight off of this game. You know what I mean? Like, tonight. So that's the disappointing thing. Is like now you the laughing stock. You that defense now that when the quarterback sees you on the schedule, it's like, all right, yeah, it's time to work. Bro, look, you seen Daniel Jones? Like 2 out of 3 games, this dude look like trash.
100 yards on us.
2 out, and against us, we made him like a Hall of Famer. Every time. But I'm like, you know what? That's the disappointing thing about this team. It's just like, all right, now you're the laughing stock in terms of that defense. And it hurts because we all had this defense pegged as being one of the top 5 defenses coming into the season. We even had, and it just wasn't fans, right? It was pundits that were like, this Washington defense is going to be one of the best defenses out there. This is the best D line in the NFL.
And they're still saying that on the broadcast.
But they need to stop it. They need to stop it.
Every time I heard Moose talk about that dominant front we have, I'm like, well, which one? Which one? Buffalo, I guess.
Listen, like even until yesterday, Josh Allen had regressed.
Yes.
Accuracy.
Yeah, he's back.
Until yesterday.
He's back now. He's all world Josh Allen now. He's all world Josh Allen again.
I don't know what he ended up with, but at one point he was like 70.
Scored 5 touchdowns for my fantasy team.
Bro, he was like 7. We made Josh Allen was throwing 53% prior to the game against Washington. For most of that game, I felt like he was at 70, 80% for most of that game. I mean, obviously it went down a little bit, but he was throwing like his completion rate was going insane. And I'm like,
he had 76 passing yards through the first 2 drives of the game. I mean, I know he's on my fantasy team, so I was excited.
I know.
5 touchdowns, 400-some yards yesterday.
I'm serious, man. It was terrible.
Yeah, I just hopefully I'm with you, Wale. I'm just at a point where even if they would have lost, I mean, well, they did lose. Yeah. The loss didn't bother me as much as how they compete or the lack of competing. That I think is what really bothers me because you can tell, like midway through the third quarter,
they just
cats are quitting.
They quitting.
Cats are quitting.
And they're gonna tell you they ain't quit, but they quit. They ain't believe. You see it, man.
And can I tell you something? I felt like the team in general, including the coaching staff, didn't believe. I told that to my wife early on in the game when they challenged that 4th and 1 on like the 25-yard line. To me, it was Ron Rivera saying, I have no faith that we're ever going to score points. And if we don't put up something now, we're just going to get steamrolled. And damned if that didn't happen, too. They didn't, they lost a stupid challenge and had no timeouts left.
Even that play bothered me. I'm going to tell you why that play bothered me.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at the defensive line, right? You're running the wide receiver in motion. That was the time to do the handoff. The end-rail handoff, because there was nobody on the end. You only needed a yard. You're going to take a 6'1", slider frame quarterback.
Oh, you're talking about the quarterback sneak.
And try to quarterback sneak when they got everybody piled inside. Like, this isn't Cam Newton quarterback sneak.
But see, I had a problem with that too. I could see that too. I was like last season, which you used to do, which I thought would have been smarter, because Logan Thomas played quarterback in college, which they did use last year. Use him for the quarterback sneak. That way you get an opportunity to get, I mean, he's tall and he's stronger. He can get you and he's used to having the ball in his hands as a quarterback in that position. It was just a lot. It was a lot. I mean, don't get me started. You can maybe go on Scott Turner. I don't have time for Scott Turner. I won't do it. I just won't do it.
Next we on him next time. Trust me. I have a whole lot of Scott Turner.
I won't do it. I've been trying to be nice about it. That's why I've been sticking on Jack. I'm not going to deal with no Turner. That's a whole different argument.
He's getting lucky because Jack's unit is so bad.
Yeah, he's getting lucky right now. He's getting very lucky. But I wanted to say, like what Doug was talking about in terms of like just signs about not competing. I think I talked to it prior to the show, before the show. What a sign for me was even like we weren't really in the game, but still in terms of scoring, we were like it was 14-24. right? You were trying to score. You were trying to get in field goal range to get a field goal. You couldn't do it. So you punted the football. Fine, whatever. It's 26 seconds left. That's cool. 26 seconds left. Buffalo has all 3 timeouts. Buffalo is trying to now get in field goal range. That Jack Del Rio and that unit, Jack Del Rio, because he coached it to a point where he was cool with giving up 3 points. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, it's 26 seconds left. It is hard to score a touchdown with 26 seconds left. If you're scared to give up a touchdown with 26 seconds left, then you think your defense is real trash. Like, you have no faith. You know that this team shouldn't even be playing against this Buffalo Bills team. If Buffalo is that good offensively, and you're playing back and you're conceding basically 3 points. Like, with 26 seconds left, you are conceding 3 points. I was like, yeah, you don't deserve to be on a football field with this team. You don't want to be on a football field with this team.
Nope.
Well, Lay, tell the people where they can find you. What you got coming up next?
Oh, yeah, you all can find me on Twitter at Wole_USS. That's WOLE_USS. Also on Twitter at Urban Sports Scene. That is our group Twitter handle. And also we have our Urban Sports Scene podcast that airs live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll recap the football game. We'll talk about Atlanta, and we'll talk about the Wizards and probably the fight that happened this weekend between Anthony Joshua and Usyk.
Very nice. And Pooh, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, you see me again this week, but hopefully it'll be after a win or much more. The competition will be more. I don't know what to say.
I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're trying to say, Pooh. I know exactly what you're trying to say.
Or all hell's breaking loose.
Matt Ryan about to come in here.
Oh man, we about to go to ATL to get.
We go to ATL.
We go to
Matt Ryan
ATL.
is about to throw for about 400 yards on Sunday. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming.
Me too, man.
He's been having such a terrible year so far. This gonna be his break. I'm scared of that right now.
I'm scared. I'm scared of that. I'm scared of that too.
That definitely gonna have 400 yards.
I'm scared of that. I'm scared of Jalen. I'm Jalen Hurts. I'm scared of everybody, man. I'm scared of everybody. I'm scared of everybody. They like Candyman in me. Everybody Candyman in me. I'm scared of everybody.
All right, fellas. We'll holler at you.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, have a good one.